Good afternoon, dear students. Hope all of you are feeling fine and safe. Today, we are going to start with the very interesting topic of introduction to business. So far, we are talking about the business, the different aspects of business, the different theory aspects of the business, the different chapters, starting from the chapter number 1 up to the chapter number 4. Starting from the basic and fundamentals definitions and theories of the introduction to business, and then later on we move to the uh, three types of business organizations, which which can be defined and which can be run at a different ways. Basically, we started from the sole proprietorships, which is run by one person, and then we moved to the another chapter by the name of partnerships, which is always ran this type of or this form of business organization by minimum two persons and maximum 20 to 25 persons respectively, or partners respectively. And then we moved to the third form of business organization, that was companies, which was totally different from the partnerships as well as the sole proprietorship form of business organizations. So for the students, in order to run a business successfully, or in order to be successful in any form of business organization, if you talk about the sole proprietor, or if you talk about the partners, or if you talk about the companies, so far apart from getting or earning profit from these type of business activities, the another aspects is to be considered, or to be considered, or and to be discussed exactly, is that the investment or the money which is required for the purpose of earning an activity, profit from an activity. Yeah, so an activity is easily not going to be run simply with the help of human resources or other resources. Basically, in order to run any form of business organizations, we do require three form of the resources. The first resources is that human resources. Yeah, a human can also be very significant to the business activity. And then we do have the financial resources, which we are going to discuss for our today class. Or financial resources, or we can say that investment, or we can say that the capital which is required for the purpose of running any form of business organization. And the third resources which is required in order to run any business activity is that real asset resources, or the assets of the business, like the building, like the transportations, like the systems, machineries, and these all things are required in order to run a business activities. So as I said that we do require money in order to run a business, or we do require an investment in order to run a business activity, which is very important source of the business activity. So today we are here to discuss the chapter number 5 by the name of the capital of the companies. Obviously, simply the company may not be run with the help of people, or with the help of assets, or with the help of machineries. Once I say that assets, this can be machineries, or systems, or other resources. But once we say that the company resources, one of the important resources is that capital of the company. Capital in the sense means that money which is required for the purpose of running a company, or an investment which is required in order to run a companies. So basically, apart from basically we say that the company is just a voluntary association of the people for the purpose of earning profit, which is always operating under the common sales. Now, apart from this, the company required the capitals. Let's find it out, the different definitions, or the different theories aspects of the capital of the companies. What exactly company means under the frame of the you know company. What do you mean by capital once we say that the companies? So here basically the capital means that the money, the cash, the investment which is needed for the purpose of operating a company. Before to go for the definitions or understanding the meaning of the capital, we have to know that what do you mean by IPO. IPO under the frame of the companies or under the form of business organizations, which is called as company, means that initial public offering. The students, whenever the company start for the first time, start in operations within a geographical environment or within a country, the company is always issuing some shares to the public, because the company required a huge amount of the capital. This huge of the amount of the capital will be always collected with the help of shareholder. Each and every shareholder will be buying some particular shares in the particular company. So the initial public offering means that when a company sell its new shares to the public for the first time is known as initial public offering. It is also known as the primary market. Dear students, if you talk about the market within a certain geographical environment, there are two general categories of the market. One is primary market and another is secondary markets. So particularly here the IPO is also known as the primary market. The primary market in the sense means that when the company is gonna to sell its shares means that part of the capital to the public for the first time, that is known as the initial public offering. It's mean that یعنی برای بار اول وقتی که کمپانی به خاطر استارت کردن اپریشنشون در یک منطقه میخواهند که شیر سر مردم بفروشن تا پیسه را به دست بیارن، امو بار اول امو شیر سر که اینا به مارکت چیز میکنن، ریلیز میکنن یا به فروش میرسانن، امو مکمل ترمینولوژی رو به نام چی مسمى میکنیم؟ به نام initial public offering. Hope it is clear. So once the company release for the first time some of the shares to the market, so that entire terminology is known as the initial public offering, which is very significant for the company that to focus how much shares to be sold for the under the IPO or for the first times. Some of the companies as per the policies are not going to shares the big amount of the or the large amount of the capital or the large amount of the shares to the public for the first time. So as per the policy, they are going to estimate or going to find it out how much shares to be offer to the public for the first time. It's totally depends on the policies and strategies of the company. This IPO is known as the primary market. Now, once we are clear with the word of IPO, terminology of the IPO under the form of company, now we have to know the definition of the capital. Capital under the frame of the business means that the amount of the money which has been collected by the company. For example, the company the company is gonna to collect $1 million for the purpose of operating the company. So this 1 million is called as the capital of the company. The total amount or the total investment which is collected by the company or contributed by the shareholder is known as the capital of the company. Let's see here, as we do have here that the capital, it is the investment made by the public in the company by purchasing shares. There are various types of the capital as below. So simply the capital is called as the money contributed by the shareholder toward the company. In another word, the capital is the amount of the money which is issued the excuse me the amount of the capital in the form of share which is issued by the company toward the public. That is known as the capital of the company. یعنی بازی مانا که کپیتال یا سرمایه کمپانی چی می باشه؟ او یک اینوستمنتی است که از طرفی کمپانی به خاطر فروختن شیرشان در مقابل پابلیک جمع آوری میشه. این رو به نام چی میگن؟ به نام کپیتال میگن، یا جمع آوری پیسه یا اماونت از طریق پابلیک in the form of share به نام چی مسمى میکنن؟ به نام capitals. Now let's discuss or find it out the different various types of the capitals within the company. The capital is not only one type, there are different certain types of the capitals. It means that the way of collecting or the way of distribution of the money by the public toward the company, or the way of collecting money by the company, is not only in one type. There are different types of the capital of the companies. Let's find it out and discuss one by one. Now here we do have here that there are some general and common types of capital under the form of the companies or below. The first one is authorized or registered capital. The second one is issued and unissued capital. The third one is subscribed capital, and the fourth one is paid up capitals. Obviously, the capital of the company is going to be categorized in four ways. بخشی اولش به نام authorized capital یا registered capital میگن. بخش دومش issued and unissued capital میگن and کاتگوری سومش به نام subscribed capital میگه و بخش چهارمش یا کاتگوری چهارمش به نام paid up capital مساوی میکنه. Let you students discuss one by one what do you mean by authorized, issued and subscribed and paid up capital of the company. The first one, authorized company. As I said that before, for example, a company capital is around $1 million, which is being collected by the company from public with the help of shares. It means that the company has already sold 1 million shares to the public. It means that 1 million capital is there in order to operate or run these companies. So now out of this 1 million, let's categorize this capital or this money into four sections or into four ways, because this capital is not gathered in a one way. That may be gathered with the help in a four ways as we discuss here. Few of the amount would be authorized, and few of the amount would be issued, and few of the amount would be subscribed, and few of the amount would be paid up capital. So obviously, as I said before, that this capital is not going to be done or collected in a one way. It could be collected in a different ways or categories. The first categories is authorized or registered capital. The students within under the frame of the companies, some of the amount of the money is going to be authorized or registered under the frame of the companies. So once we say that authorized or the registered, it's mean that the company is going to authorize some of the money. If you do remember under the advantages and disadvantages of the company, we say that limited liabilities. This is what the company has some limits toward issuing some of the shares toward the public. It means that the company does not or could not issued all the money as a 1 million in order to share it with the public or to sell the shares on the public, but part of this money could be authorized. So let just read it out that under the authorized or registered capital, we do have that it is the maximum amount of the capital which a company can issue, or this is called as authorized capital because the company has this much authority to issue it. It means that the company has this much limits or this much authority or rights in order to issue it within the countries. As per the as per the constitution of the country, a company does not a company cannot issue large amount of the money in order to collect it from the public. There are some certain limitations, there are certain you know articles that with the help of this particular limitation and articles, the company can collect the money from the publics. If you go for the other companies on the international or global base, some of the companies of if you talk about the US and then you talk about the India and Pakistan, there are some companies which issued the shares to the public. It means that selling of shares to the public. So once they are selling to shares to the public, it means that they do have some limits. The government of the countries, or as per the constitution of the country, or as per the articles which are there under the frame of the company, they has the limits in order to share some of the amount to the public. So let's assume that out of this 1 million, the company has the rights or authority to issue 2 lakh dollar shares from the public. So this 2 lakh out of 1 million is known as authorized or registered capital. So out more than this 2 lakh, the company share cannot sell cannot sell shares to the public. یعنی به معنی که اترایز کپیتال یا رجیستر کپیتال او بخشی از سرمایه از کمپانی می باشد که کمپانی به مو اساسی صلاحیت یا رایتسی که داره به مو اندازه پیسه را از پابلیک چیز کرده میتونن جمع کرده میتونن in the form of shares. That is known as also as a registered capital. And this amount of the capital is registered with the registrar of the companies. Usually each and every company has its own section of registering the capital of the money. So the amount of the money which is registered under the particular section of the company is also known as the authorized capital. So therefore this is known as the registered capital. خب چرا اینا به نام رجیستر کاپیتال ما سما میکنیم؟ به خاطر که همو مشخص اماونت را که اینا صلاحیت دارن که از طریق پابلیک یا از طریق بانک یا از طریق دیگه سورس ها جمع آوری میکنن، امو مشخص پیسه را که اینا جمع آوری میکنن در یک سکشن مشخص چی میشن؟ رجیستر میشن. بازی خاطر اینا ما میگیم که also known as the چی به نام رجیستر کاپیتال هم میگه، یا سرمایه‌ای که ثبت میشه یا ثبت شده باشه. Hope it is clear the first category of the capital of the company. So the second sections or category of the capital of the company is that issued and unissued capitals. Let's discuss what do you mean by issued and unissued capital of the companies. A company issued capital according to its requirement. The amount of the capital which is which the company offers out of its authorized capital to the public for the investment is known as the issued capitals. And unissued capital is that capital which is not issued. As I said before in example that this 1 million capital of the company where a company by the name of XYZ is going to operate within a particular geographical environment, and out of this 2 lakh is authorized capital. It means that we do have 8 lakhs here, right, out of 1 million. So 2 lakh is going to be authorized. It means that the company has the rights to issued or sell shares to the public. That is known as authorized. Why it is called as register? Because it is registered in under the registrar or under the register book of the company. That is called as register. Now out of this 2 lakh, if the company is going to issued 1 lakh shares to the public, so that is called as issued capital. یعنی به زیمانا مقدار یا بخشی از پیسه ای که رجیستر شده از طرف پابلیک و جمع شده، یعنی جمع می شود، out of زی ما 1 لکش چیز میکنیم؟ issued میکنیم، شیر سر مردم میفروشیم. that بخشش یا این بخشش به نام چی ما میکنیم؟ به نام issued capital. و remaining 1 لکش که میمانه او را به نام چی ما میکنیم؟ به نام unissued capital. So if you go, the reason behind that why the capital is the company is going to issue some of the authorized capital and remaining or not issuing by the company is as per the policy of the companies. If the company is going to issue all the authorized capital at once time, then with the passage of time, if the company needs money and in order to collect it from the public, they don't have the chance to to do what? To do the selling of shares, because under the IPO initial public offering for the first time the company are issuing, and then they are issuing some of the capital some of the shares to the public under the form of authorized. That could be as per the policy of the companies. Sometimes the company needs money for the purpose of operations, or sometimes the company may be facing some of the loss due to the some factors, natural factors and other factors. So here the company policy says that we should not sell all the authorized capital to the public for the at the one time. So we have to issue partial amount of the shares of the authorized capital to the public, and remaining has to be there in the system of the company. Whenever it is needed, we can issue it. So particularly the issued capital is always done with respect to the requirement. Whenever the company required, so that particular amount of money can be collected from the public with the help of shares. They has to sell the shares to the public, and then the investors can take part or can buy shares within that particular companies. یعنی بازی مانو که پالیسی کمپانی ایجاب میکنن که کلی پیسه را که رجیستر هستن یا آترایز هستن که اینا از پابلیک جمع کنن یا صلاحیت زیر دارن که مثلا اینا از پابلیک جمع کنن، کل پیسه را یک بار ایشو نمیکنن یا کل پیسه کل شیرز یک بار ایشو نمیکنن، یعنی سر ما پابلیک نمیفروشن. یک مقداری از پیسه را از می رجیستر پیسه را چیز میکنن اینا سر پابلیک شیرز میفروشن و سرمایه گذارات از او کمپانی چیز میکنن، سرمایه گذاری میکنن. So that particular portion or that particular amount of money is called as issued capital, and the remaining capital which is left it from the authorized capital is called as unissued capitals. And apart from the issued and unissued category of the capital of the company, we do have the third one. So now let's discuss the subscribed capital. What do you mean by subscribed capital? So apart from the authorized or registered capital, where the company has some particular limits or rights or authority in order to just sell shares to the public, and then out of that authorized or registered amount of money or capital of the money, the company as per the requirement or as per the needs of the company, they are issuing some amount, and remaining are called as unissued. Now we have to know that what do you mean by the subscribed capital. The subscribed capital is the amount of the capital for which the people subscribe is known as subscribed capital. It is the part of authorized capital which is issued under the offered for the public subscriptions. As I said, under the issued capital, out of this 2 lakh which is authorized capital, and out of this 2 lakh the company issued 1 lakh rupees under the issued capital, and 1 lakh remaining is unissued capital. It means that still it is not needed by the company to be sold to the publics. So particularly this 1 lakh which is issued to the public and investors has taken part in that company being as a shareholder. So out of these, the subscribes capital means that how many people or how many investors has taken part in that capitals. All right. So if we says that, so out of this 1 lakh, we says that all the amount is occupied by the shareholder, is also known as subscribe. It means that we do have 1 lakh subscriptions. If you talk about the people, we do have assume that 100 investors in our company. That is called as subscribe capital. Subscribe capital بزیمانو وقتی که ما شیر سر به پابلیک ایشیو میکنیم یا سرشان میفروشیم، این حالا بخش subscribe کپیتالی رو میگه که here as they say that capital for which the people are subscribed. آیا مردم تمام پیسه را تمام شیر سر خریدن یا کمش ماندن؟ اگر تمام یا امی پای مقدار پیسه یا امی مقدار سهمیه ای که سرمایه گذارات از او سهم میگیره، امی را به نام چی میگه؟ به نام subscribe capital میگه. Assume that Ahmad, Ali and Mahmoud are going to subscribe within that company. Ahmad is going to subscribe $20,000, and then the Mahmoud is going to subscribe $30,000, and then Ali is going to subscribe $50,000. Total is mean that 1 lakh rupees. 1 lakh shares which has been issued by the company to the public is subscribed by 3 investors. So that is called as subscribed capital. So that is subscribed capital is always in the two form. One form of the subscribed capital is called as oversubscription, and another is under subscriptions. It's mean that exceeded, and the another one is not exceeded. Assume that if the number of the subscriber is more than 1 lakh rupees, that means that it is called as oversubscription. If the number of the subscriber is lesser than 1 lakh shares which has been issued by the company, is called as what? Is called as under subscriptions. بزیمانو که امی subscribe capital بدونو می باشه. اگر ما میگیم که سرمایه گذاری که به اندازه 1 لک روپیز زیادتر سرمایه گذار اینجا بر ما مراجعه میکنن یا شیرس ما رو میخونن یا دیماند میکنن، that is called as over subscription. و اگر ما هم 1 لک دلار شیرس را که ما شما سر پابلیک میفروشیم تقاضا یا دیماند یا سابسکرایبری کمتر از 1 لک روپیز بود، این ما به نام چی میگیم؟ به نام under subscription میگیم. So For example, as I say that $1 lakh or $1 lakh is going to be issued by the companies to the public. If there are number of the subscriber is more than 1 lakh rupees, assume that Ali is going to invest $20,000 and Mahmoud is going to invest $30,000, and then Ahmed is going to invest subscribe $50,000, and then we do have say that the Akram is going to subscribe $10,000. If you go total, it will come 1 lakh and $10,000. It means that we do have over subscriptions in this scenario. And if here we say that Ali is going to invest $20,000 in this particular company, and then Mahmoud is going to be subscribed and by $30,000, and then we say that Ali is going to subscribe $40,000 or invest $40,000 or buy $40,000 shares in this particular company. So now total it will come $90,000. It means that we are under the subscriptions. It means that the company does not fulfill its requirement. We can put it in a simple way that when the company is getting demand more than as per the requirements, is called as oversubscription, and when the company is getting less demand for the as per the requirement is known as the under subscription. So particularly here we do have oversubscription, means that if the number of the capital are more than number of shares, this situation is known as oversubscription. As I said before that, for example, the company is going to issued $1 lakh to the public. So here, if the number of the subscriber is more than $1 lakh, this situation, so this scenario is known as oversubscription. And when the company issued $1 lakh and the number of the subscriber is lesser than $1 lakh, so this scenario or this situation is called as under subscription. So basically, under the subscribe capital of the company has two scenario or two situations. Sometimes as per the market, as per the requirement, as per the situations, as per the analytical environment of the company, sometimes the company has more demand as per the expected, and sometimes the company has less demand as per the expectation. So if the demand or the subscription is more as per the requirement, is called as oversubscription. And if the demand for the particular requirements is less, then we can't say that under subscriptions. یعنی کمپنی په دو حالت یا په دو سچویشن یا په دو سناریو روبرو میشن یا کون وقت داخل مارکت وقتی که اینا پیسه را په شیرز و پابلیک چیز میکنن ریلیز میکنن سام تایم یا بعضی از وقت چیز میشن تقاضا به خاطر خریدن از اون شیرز از اون پارتیکولر کمپانی زیاد میباشن از پر دی نمبر آف شیرز. یعنی اینا 1 لک روپه را وقتی که شیر سر چیز میکنن تا مارکت ریلیز میکنن یا ایشو میکنن، مردم تقاضای زیادتری از امو شیر سر یا داخل کمپانی چیز میکنن ضرورت دارن یا تقاضا میکنن. این رو به نام ور سابسکرپشن میگه و یگان وقت داخل مارکت نظر به امون نیچر کمپانی یا فعالیت کمپانی وقتی که اینا شیر سر پابلیک ریلیز میکنن یا شیر سر پابلیک میفروشن، تقاضای بسیار کمی از سرمایه گذارا اونجا وجود داره. این رو به نام چی میگن؟ به نام under subscription مینامه. Hope you are clear up to this part. And the last category or type of the capital of the company is that paid up capitals. Let's discuss apart from the authorized and then issued and unissued and subscribe capital of the company. Let's find it out. What do you mean by paid up capitals? The paid up capital is that capital for which the company accepts the subscription and make the delivery of shares to the applicants. This is very easy and this is very common things that once the company received, assume that and they have issued 1 lakh rupees shares to the public, and they do have like 5 applicants as investors or 5 investors in order to invest money or buy share of this particular company. Some of the applicants will be accepted by the company and some of the applicants or investors will be rejected by the companies. It means that the company, as per the policy of the company does not allow each and every investors to invest that particular company, or each and every subscriber to be shareholder of that particular company. As per the system of the company will accept some of the subscriber and some of the subscriber will be rejected. So paid up capital is particularly that capital of the company which is being accepted by the company, and then they do agreement and they do deliver shares to that particular subscriber or applicants, and that applicants will be the shareholder of the company. The shareholder of the company is known as the owner of the company. So let me go for a small overview of this four type of the capital of the company. As we say that there are four types of the capital of the company. First one is authorized capital. This is the authorized capital, is that capital of the company where it is authorized by the company has some limits and restrictions in order to collect money from the public, or in order to share sales to the public as per the constitution of the company, excuse me, as per the constitution of the country. And that particular amount which is registered under the registrar book of the company is known as the registered company. It means that we can call it as a register, or we can call this as a authorized. So once the company is going to to be authorized, particularly in order to collect money from the public. So in that way, if the company is going to issued part of that authorized capital to the public is called as issued capital, and remaining is known as the unissued capital of the company. And then we discuss the subscribed capital. So if the number of the number of the people who are going to apply or going to buy that particular share of the company is called as subscribed capital of the company. The subscribed capital of the company has two situation or two scenario. Sometimes it shows as oversubscription. It means that there are more demand as per the capital which is the shares which has been issued by the company, and sometimes there is under or low scenario or low demand for the shares which has been issued by the company. And then we say that paid up capital is that acceptance applicants or acceptance or accepted applicants or subscriber was applied for the this company in order to be the shareholder of that company is known as paid up capitals. So for this purpose, lastly, I'm going to give you an example for the purpose of better understanding. As I say that company, share capital of the company, let's find it out. There is a company by the name of XYZ. All right. This company is going to operate, within a Kabul for the period of 10 years. This is the life of the company. All right. In this company, going to operate or going to do investment of $1 lakh. $1 lakh میخواهد که چیز کنن اینا اینجا سرمایه گذاری کنن. So this $1 lakh where the company has decided to operate within a particular geographical environment is known as the capital of the companies. Obviously this is a very large amount of the money, and we say that under this form of business organization, each and every people can take part in this company. Each and every person can buy shares from this company, and each and every person can be the shareholder of this company. Now basically we say that the capital is the investment of the company where the company is going to operate within this particular geographical environment. So now one lakh dollar is the investment or the capital of the company where the company wants to run this activity or this company. And then this 1 lakh dollar which is particularly we say that in the capital of the company as an example. So this is going to be divided into four categories or into four types. The first type is called as authorized or registered of the company. Now this 1 million, assume that as per the constitution of the country or as per the norm or regulation of the company has decided to name it out of this $1 million, 5 lakh as a authorized or registered. It means that the constitution of the country or as per the norms of the company, they are allowed to just sell shares to the public up to 5 lakh rupees, not more than 5 lakh dollars. This is called as authorized capital. Why it is known as a registered capital? Because this capital is going to be registered under the registrar section of the company. That's why it is also known as the registered capital. So once we say that 5 lakh rupees is the limits or the rights or the authority of the company to sell shares to the public is known as authorized capital. It means that out of 1 lakh dollar, $1 million, 5 lakh dollar is going to be authorized. They cannot sell shares to the public more than 5 lakh dollar. That is known as the authorized capital. Now, out of this 5 lakh dollar, which is known as the authorized or registered capital, now the company will take decision how much they do need. Assume that as per the policy of the company, they do need 3 lakh dollar to be collected from the public as of now. And as I said that sometimes the policy and the strategy of the company says that they don't sell shares of the authorized capital at once time. They will look behind their needs, they will look behind their what requirements. If they do need, they can share sales. If they don't need, they cannot share sales because they don't need it. So as per the policy of the company, it is better to not share not sell all the authorized capital of the company at once time, because later on, due to some of the factors or due to some of the problems, once the company face, they must be having an option in order to sell again shares to the public. That's why the company are not going to issue all the authorized capital at once time. Now assume that out of this 5 lakh dollar where the company is going to collect from the public, they are going to, as per the need or requirement, they are going to collect 3 lakh dollar from the public in the form of selling shares to them. So this 3 lakh is known as issued capital. Now, out of 5 lakh, once 3 lakh is issued to the public is called as issued capital, and remaining 2 lakh dollar is known as unissued capital, because it is not issued, it is there in the system. This rights or this authority they do have, that they can sell the shares later on. Assume that in 2020 they collected 2 3 lakh dollar from the public or from any other sources in the form of selling share, and remaining 2 lakh rights or authority they do have, that they can you know as per the need or as per the situation, they can collect it in the 2021. So now 3 lakh is called as issued capital, and the 2 lakh is called as unissued capital, which is there in the system for the purpose of future requirement. Whenever they need it, they can collect it from the public in the form of selling shares to them, to the investors. Now out of this 3 lakhs which has been issued, now we have two situations here: over subscriptions and under subscriptions. So for this 3 lakh which is issued by the company of XYZ in 2020, there will be number of applicants or number of investors who are interested to do investment in that particular companies, or they are interested to be the shareholder of that particular companies. Now subscribe capital means that the number of the people or the investors who are going to subscribe toward this 3 lakh dollar. Assume that Ali, Mahmoud and Ahmed are interested to to buy the shares of this company or to do investment in that particular company. Now these three people are called as subscriber. The amount of the money of these three people is called as subscribed capital. Assume that the Ali is going to invest $50,000, and then Mahmoud is going to invest 1 lakh dollar, and then Ahmad is going to invest again 1 lakh dollar. Assume that it is just an example. So 1 lakh dollar share investment done by Ahmad, and 1 lakh dollar investment done by Mahmoud, and $50,000 investment done by Ali. These three people are called as subscriber of the company, and the amount which is being contributed by them is called as subscribed capital. So in this subscribe capital, we do have two situations or two scenario. Sometime the number of the applicants are exceeded as per the requirement of the company, and sometime this the you know the situation or scenario is lower than the need of the company. Once it is higher or exceeded, is called as oversubscription, and once it is below that particular need of the company or the shares of the company is called as under subscription. بزیمانو که 3 लाख را وقتی که اینا ایشود میکنن، بعد از 3 lakhs علی محمود احمد آر دی سبسکرایبر اندی پیسی را که اینا سرمایه گذاری میکنن اینا به نام سبسکرایب کپیتال میگه. اگر وقتی که نمبر آف یا تعداد سرمایه گذار که پیسه را سرمایه گذاری میکنن، اگر پیسه ایشان زیادتر از اون اماونتی که کمپانی چیز میکنن کالکت میکنن یا ضرورت دارن زیاد شد، یعنی بزی مانا که اینجا مردم یا سرمایه گذاری علاقمندای پیدا شد که مثلا اینا میگن که ما پیسه ایشانه که چک میکنن مثلا $4 lakh شد. $4 lakh is more than 3 lakh shares which has been issued by the company to the public. یعنی 3 lakhs را اینا وقتی که ایشو میکنن، شیرز ایشو میکنن، اینجا مردم به اندازه 4 lakhs چیز میکنن، علاقمند هستن یا اینترست هستن. سو این سیناریو رو به نام چی میگن؟ به نام اوور سابسکرپشن میگن. پس این معنی که به اندازه نیدی که کمپانی داشت از او کده زیادتر سرمایه گذار اونجا چیز میشن، علاقمندی پیدا میکنن، این به نام اوور سابسکرپشن میگه. و به اندازه که پیسه که کمپانی ضرورت دارن از او کده پایینتر اگر تقاضا شد یا سرمایه گذار علاقمندی نشان داد، او رو به نام چی میگیم؟ به نام لور سابسکرپشن میگیم. بازی مانا که اگر از 3 lakhs زیادتر شد سرمایه گذار اینجا علاقمند شد، این رو به نام اور سابسکرپشن میگیم این سیناریویشه. و اگر از 3 lakhs پایینتر بود علاقمند یا سرمایه گذارا، این رو به نام این سیناریو رو به نام چی مساوی میکنیم؟ به نام اندر سابسکرپشن میگیم. Then now paid up capital. Paid up capital is particularly بزیمانو که وقتی که سرمایه گذارا ما بنام مثلا ما گفتیم که علی است، محمد است، احمد است، امی مردم علاقمند است که دیمی کمپانی چیز کنن، سرمایه گذاری کنن. بعدا از طرف کمپانیز اگر هر او اپلیکنت یا هر او سابسکرایبر یا هر او سرمایه گذاری که از طرف کمپانی او اکسپت شد، او را ما به نام چی مساوی میکنیم؟ اما مشخص پیسیش به نام چی مساوی میکنیم؟ به نام paid up capital میگیم. در این مثال ما گفتیم که علی، محمد، احمد این سرمایه گذارایی است که هر کدامشان 50,000، 1 lakhs و 1 lakhs دیگه هم از طرف احمد سرمایه گذاری علاقمند هستند که سرمایه گذاری کنن. از فکر میکنیم که یا حدس میزنیم که اینجا کمپانی علی سرمایه گذاری علی را چیز میکنن، اکسپت میکنن، از محمد اکسپت نمیکنن و از احمد را اکسپت میکنن. امی احمد 1 lakh شد و از علی 50,000 پارتیکولر دلار شد که دیگه کمپانی سرمایه گذاری میکنن. امی دو مبلغ را ما به نام چی مساوی میکنیم؟ به نام پید اپ کپیتال میگیم. پید اپ کپیتال او بخشی از سرمایه از کمپانی است که از طرف سرمایه گذار اونجا شیرز کمپانی را میخره و از طرف کمپانی چیز میشن، برشان اکسپت داده میشن یا اونا را قبول میکنن. سرمایه گذارا را هم مقدار پیسیش چیز میکنن، قبول میکنن یا اکسپت میکنن. سو اون مقدار پیسیش به نام چی مساوی میکنیم؟ به نام paid up capital مساوی میکنیم. Thank you so much from your kind attention. It's really interesting topics. Just work on it and read on it and just understand it. Once again, thank you so much and see you for the next class.